Hey guys, so I forgot to do an intro for this video. So this video is going to be on the Fenty Beauty, the new under eye concealer and setting powder. The shade I have is 185, which is pretty light, lighter than maybe I should have done. And I went in with the Fenty Beauty foundation. The Fenty is in 280, and what corresponds with it is the 280 in the concealer. I purchased this online, so it looked kind of dark to me. This one looked just right, but again, as you can see, it's very bright compared to the foundation, but we made it work. I have the foundation on. I have the Fenty powder in butter as my all over powder and under eye powder, and then the concealer in 185. So if you want to see my thoughts, what I thought about it, how it held out throughout the day, so if you want to see my final thoughts on that, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I already did the foundation. Let me just tell you what I have on my skin. I used my Pixie Glow Tonic to, just take off any excess and just, tone up the skin, anything that I might have left on the skin before I get started. I used the Becca Velvet Blurring Primer Perfecting Base as my primer. And for foundation, I'm using the Fenty Beauty in 280. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but it's a tad darker. I still use the foundation. I think it's still, wearable. My thing is highlight and you should be fine. So I haven't set it yet. And so with this new, so I used the Fenty just to keep it all in the same family. I know they added, I think, 10 more shades, so now there's 50 shades to go with the new concealers, which the packaging is pretty much the same. I think it's really cute that they kept it kind of the same. I did order mine online, so when I was looking at what corresponds with this color, because what they did was, if you're 280, you'd be 280 in your concealer. So it's going to be a little bit lighter than the foundation, but they go together. When I was looking at 280, it looked really dark. Now, take in mind, I ordered mine online, so I didn't physically swatch them in store. I went kind of like, let's see how this goes. So I got 185. So 185 said it was like light to medium. It had like the yellow undertones. So I was like, you know what, this is probably gonna work. And when I got it, I was like, ooh, because it is a little light. It's very light compared to the foundation. But again, I do like a bright under eye, so we're gonna give this a try. Everybody's been talking about the ounces and stuff. This is 0.27 ounces. If you compare it to Tarte is 0.33. So they look pretty much the same, but it has less. And if you want to go with drugstore, say the Infallible, this is 21. 0.21 is 0.27. So you can kind of, get an idea. It's less for the price because I think this one was $32. I'll put what the prices were because the receipts don't give you prices. Anyways, so I'm gonna put this on because my foundation is starting to dry and I want to be able to set it. So this is what we're gonna go with, and the applicator is just like a flat brush. It isn't like the one in the Tarte. It isn't, curved. It's just a flat brush. So yeah, this is very light. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a brush and brush it in. And usually this is what I do. Anything excess, I just highlight my T-zone. I'm going to go in with the sponge. You can still see some darkness. So I don't feel like it covered up or concealed my darkness. I think it did a beautiful job at brightening the area, so it is brighter, but I think it looks fine. Like, it isn't like stark white, and it blends out beautifully. Now I am going to take a little bit more just for like this part here, because I do want that part to be just a little bit more concealed. And as you can see, it is creasing a little, so I'm just gonna put in that much. I don't want to do too much, just in case, you know. Okay, so I like how this looks. I really like how it looks. It blended very nicely. For how light it is, I don't think it's, you know, I think I can make it work once I start to powder and do all of that. So now to set it, I'm going in with the Fenty Beauty. Look at that packaging, gorgeous. So I looked at banana, and I have a lot of things that are banana, and sometimes they're a little too yellow, so I wanted to try butter. So that's what I picked up, is butter, and I'm going to use this to set under the eyes. You just make sure nothing creased. I did look at lavender, but I don't know. I kind of felt like it would look lavender. And so I'm going to use this to set actually the whole face. This has a nice scent to it. Okay, so the powder feels very finely milled, like very finely milled, which I like. It does look dry under my eyes, and I'm gonna get up close. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it just looks very dry. It looks super dry. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I am gonna set my face, and so that actually helped a little. Okay, so right off the bat, we already know this is a little too light, but I do like how evenly it spread, how easy it was to, I didn't feel like it was drying quickly where I needed to work quickly. It was very easy to blend out. And I have the foundation. I kind of wanted to keep it in the family just in case. I will be testing this out with other foundations, but for this I wanted to stay within the family. The powder I love. It feels really nice. It looks really nice on the skin. Looks like, I don't know if you can tell, but it does look like it blurred a little. The only thing is that under the eyes it looks a little dry, and I can see that it is actually creasing a little. So I'm gonna finish the rest of my makeup. I am gonna go to work. Later on today I'll come back and check in. If you're following me on Instagram, Snapchat, JackieRods105, I will be checking in throughout the day. But I'm just gonna come back later on in the day, and I'm not gonna do any touch-ups. I'm not gonna touch my face. I'm not gonna do anything like that. The only thing is maybe, you know, I'll touch up my lipstick or whatever, but I'm not gonna touch up the skin. I want to see how it, you know, looks throughout the day. So I'm gonna finish everything else. I mean, it does look really nice to the naked eye, if you're not like up close in my face, but I do feel like it is a little drying under the eye. So, and I do have dry skin. It is winter, so, you know, if you're oily and your skin, you know, gets pretty oily quickly, you might like this. But let's see how it looks towards the end of the day. So I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna finish getting ready, and then we'll come back and check in. Okay, so I did the rest of my face, just finished everything. I'm not gonna say I spoke too soon, but I sprayed my face, did my contour, everything else. I'm liking how it's looking. The under eyes still look a little dry, but we're gonna see how it's going throughout the day. I'm actually hot, so we're gonna see. But this is how it's looking, and I've had this on now for an hour. So I started off with the foundation and everything, had my coffee. I'm about to get ready to leave, and it's been 1 hour. So I'm gonna put on my lipstick, change my clothes, head out the door. When I come back later on tonight, it'll be, right now it's 8 o'clock in the morning, so I will be back at 6. So it'll be 12 hours actually, because I've already had this on for about an hour, a little over an hour, but it'll be 12 hours. So again, if you're following me on Instagram and Snap, you're gonna see, you know, my thoughts throughout the day when I go to lunch and stuff like that. Okay, so just got home from work. I haven't touched up all day. I'm gonna move you a little closer. Okay, so as you can see, my T-zone is a little oilier, but I feel like it still looks bright. That looks, from here, it looks pretty good. When I get closer, you can see my eyes been watering a little, so my liner ran a little. You can see under here, it creased. Like, not like it creased, you know, where it went in, but you can still see like the fine lines. and I feel like this held up really, really well. But it does crease under here, and it does look super dry. You know, with the lights and everything, you might not notice it, but it does look dry. So yesterday I used it. I wanted to just try it out with something else. Yesterday this looked super dry, and what I had on yesterday was the Revlon Photo Ready Airbrush Effect foundation with this. If you watch my Instagram, if you watch my Snap, you probably saw I posted something that said trying out a new concealer, not very impressed. Now today I think it looks a whole lot better than it did yesterday. I still feel like you need some kind of moisture under the eyes to wear this. Maybe in the summer this will be fine because you're, you know, a little more oilier, so it'll kind of give it like a dewy kind of a look. But right now I feel like this is very drying under my eyes, and it looks like you can see the creases. Like, so that's my thought on that. Now the powder I think looks beautiful. I think it's on its own, even with something else, I think it's gonna look really nice. It did a nice job at blurring. It didn't really separate around my nose or anything. I do feel oily. I'm sure that if I, you know, patted it, it would look really nice. So if you're oilier, I think this would work for you. If you don't have that many fine lines, I think that would work for you. For me, I wasn't really impressed by this, but I am impressed with this. So I'm gonna keep trying it out. I'm gonna try this, you know, with a different powder. I'm gonna try it, you know, with a different eye cream, stuff like that, and see how I like it. I do think that it's a little too bright. You can't really tell with the lights and everything, but I do feel like it is a little light, and the foundation didn't really oxidize, so it wasn't like too bad. But it is, I think, a little bit darker than it should be, but I think we made it work. The under eye concealer, I think it's a little bright. Again, I can mix it with something else and warm it up a little more, darken it up a little more if I wanted to. I do like how it looks, even though it's really, really bright. But again, under here, if you can see, like, it did crease, and it does look super dry. So let's see something. Let me see if I can tilt you this way. Maybe there's a shadow. That's how it looks. So again, it's something that I'm going to continue to try it. I'm going to continue to use it with other things. If you're following me on Instagram and Snap, I did check in during lunch. It looked pretty much the same, you know, dry, but pretty much the same. So do I think you really need to run out and buy this? No. Do I think you need to run out and buy this? Yes. So I'm gonna go and get a different shade just to see, but I don't think it's the shade. I do think it's just the concealer is drying under my eyes, and it, you know, shows my fine lines more than it should. It says that it shouldn't show anything, but it's showing it. Other than that, if you look at me from far, I think it looks really nice. It held up really nice. But, you know, I heard a lot of people complaining how this was not all that. It just caked up. It just looked this. It's just, I wanted to try it out for myself, and that's my thought on it. Again, my skin is dry, so it is going to be a little drying under the eyes. You can use like the Too Faced Hangover Cream, Under Eye Cream, whatever you want to use. If you want to use like a roller under the eye, moisturize it a little more before you go into it, that might work as well. Again, I'm going to continue to play with it, and see how that goes. So that's my thought on the Fenty Beauty. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. My next video will be on the James Charles palette, so hit the little bell so you're notified when that video goes up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.